What's happening? Landlord from Alabama here, back with another video. And today, man, we finna talk about the linebacker Jabril Cox, coming straight out of LSU. Finna see what he gonna do in year 2. So you know we gotta talk about it. Let's go. Maybe you was living under a rock last year. Maybe you just woke up this morning and became a Cowboys fan. But let me tell you about Jabril Cox, bring you up to speed. Jabril is 24 years old, coming out of Kansas City, Missouri, standing at 6'3", 235 pounds, and ran a 4.5 and a 40 with a 34-inch vertical. He started his career at North Dakota State, where he absolutely dominated from 2016 to 2019. He was a 2-time All-American and won Defensive Player of the Year in 2018 and won 3 national championships with North Dakota State. After he had an outstanding career with them, he went and transferred down to Death Valley in Baton Rouge with the LSU Tigers. In 2020, the year after LSU had that magical season with Joe Burrow, that was a very bad team coming off of that championship, and Jabril Cox was one of the more bright spots. He was one of the only things to smile about for the LSU Tigers coming off of that defense. He had 58 tackles, 3 interceptions, he took 1 back to the house, and he had 8 pass breakups, and he had 6.5 tackles for loss, so he was an absolute demon for the LSU Tigers, all around the field, sideline to sideline. And of course, after he cut up like that, he received some recognition. He was a semi-finalist for the Buckets Award, aka one of the better linebackers in the country. Jabril had to have some kind of shoulder procedure, so going into the draft, that's what scared a lot of teams. That's what made his draft stock go down and plummet. That's what made him slide in the draft. It wasn't due to his ability, it was mostly teams being cautious about his health. But you know our beloved Cowboys, we seen something that we like, you know we risk it. Jerry is a gambler. He seen him still sitting there in the 4th round, and you know the Cowboys selected him 115 overall. When Jabril arrived in Dallas, he already was behind a few linebackers. We drafted Micah Parsons in the 1st round. You know, he's an outstanding player, so we did have Jalen Smith, LVE. He had a few players that was ahead of him on his depth chart, and he had an uphill battle to be able to get some time on his field. But you can tell the Cowboys wasn't so pleased with their linebacking core, with them drafting 2 of them last year, so it was much room for improvement and a good opportunity for Jabril to break through and become a player and a contributor on this team. After Jabril showed some signs of life, had a pretty impressive preseason, he was doing a lot of things, sideline to sideline, making plays, making tackles, and I guess he was showing some decent improvement in practice as well, because in my opinion, I feel like Jabril Cox made Jalen Smith expendable. They started looking at him with the side eye. They wasn't so sure about Jalen Smith no more once they seen Jabril Cox coming along. So by week 4, after the Panthers game, they released Jalen Smith, and you know it was time for young Jabril Cox to get his time to shine, show everybody that he is the caliber of linebacker to be a starter in this league and make some noise. The first game that he got his opportunity, we played the Giants, and he got some significant snaps that was actually a part of the game, some important snaps. I remember that play he hawked down Danny Dimes going to the corner. He popped him, he let him feel it. I believe he injured Daniel Jones on that play and knocked him out and kept him out the end zone. That was a tremendous play. We know Danny Dimes is a decent athlete at the quarterback position, and Jabril really got the job done and smoked Daniel Jones and held him out of the end zone. That was a huge play for the Cowboys in that game. Then the next game, you know, we played the Patriots, the CD waving game where he got fined and all that. But the very next game, we played the Vikings, you know, the Cooper Rush game when he won. We was so happy about that win, winning the game without Dak Prescott. We forgot to mention that Jabril Cox got hurt in that game and was out for the season. I believe that was in the fine print. That really went without notice because we were so ecstatic about that win. But in my opinion, that was a big time loss. I was very excited about Jabril Cox trajectory and his future as a Dallas Cowboy and man in that position at linebacker. I think he would have acted a fool if he would have been healthy throughout the season. He probably could have been a difference maker for our Dallas Cowboys. But all of that went out the window when he tore his ACL in the Vikings game, man. It was very, very devastating. And now we really don't know what we had. We really wasn't able to see what he was gonna become. And now we just basing most of this stuff off potential. But on film, I do see all of the traits that you would love to see from a modern day linebacker. He's long, he's rangy, he's good in coverage. He can guard tight ends, running backs, wide receivers. He even covering wide receivers in the slot. And that's just really unheard of. That's some uncharted territory for a linebacker these days, man. Jabril is very comfortable in coverage. This is where he shines. This is where his bread is buttered. This is where he gonna make his market on his team. He is a tremendous coverage linebacker. But coming out of LSU, that was one of the bigger knocks on him. One was his health, and the other was his ability to play the run. With him being a smaller frame linebacker, a lot of the NFL scouts had a lot of doubts on him being able to hold up, shed some of the blocks from these offensive linemen, getting around and making plays in the backfield. One of the things that he shined in was he was gonna elude a lot of those blockers. He's not gonna take them face on, but he's so quick and agile that he can get around them. The guards and the offensive linemen might not even get a hand on him. That basically just debunks some of their views on him in the running game. And he displayed some of that even though it was a very small sample in the preseason and in a couple of games that he played until he got that season in the ACL injury. He also displayed some nice blitzing ability. Like I said, he's very quick and explosive at the linebacker position, and he can cause a lot of problems for a quarterback coming downhill and screaming in the middle of the line, man. I remember that Texans game. He was blasting off the field. He was jumping off the tape. He was the one that was demanding my attention on that field, man. He got a big time hit on the quarterback that game, if I'm not mistaken. So Jabril is a nice, versatile player. He can decently play the run. He can blitz tremendously, and he's very great in coverage. He's not just there in their hip pocket. He's sticky with them, and he's making plays on the ball. He's getting PBUs. He's breaking the ball up. He's actually breaking on interceptions. So that's very rare for a linebacker. Most linebackers don't play the ball well. He has some above average ball skills at the linebacker position. But overall, I really believe that Jabril Cox, if healthy, will be an absolute terror for any offense in this league. I feel like Dan Quinn is gonna make him into a versatile monster. He is gonna cause all kind of havoc, especially when you pair him with Micah Parsons. That's gonna be a dynamic duo at the linebacker position. Just imagine when we get Damone Clark back next year, or maybe later on this year. That's gonna be a very scary linebacking core. In my opinion, I feel like we will be a top 5 linebacking core, maybe even one of the best in the NFL, maybe the best. And the trajectory for this team and this linebacking core and this defense as a whole, it just got me super excited. I am drinking the Kool-Aid for Dan Quinn. I feel like he is a monster. And Jabril Cox is just another Swiss Army knife, similar to Jabril Cox, and maybe the way he might use Micah and Sam Williams. But I can easily see Jabril getting 2 to 3 interceptions, 3 or 4 sacks, and, you know, causing havoc, being a demon, eluding those guards and getting to the backfield, making some tackles for loss. But that's all I got for you today, man. Just holla at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.